Today I want to share with you my 3 reasons why I think that calorie counting is the most sustainable way to lose weight and to keep the weight off. It certainly has been for me over the last 20 years, and I want to share with you those 3 reasons why I think it has been a success for me, and I'm hoping that they will help you also meet your weight targets and to help you to keep it off over the coming years. So if you don't know about me, I am 44 years old, I'll be 45 this year, and currently weigh just over 10 stone 3 I think. And at one point in my 20s I actually ballooned to about 14 stone or just over. So I'm only 5'7", so it's pretty overweight by all measures really. And what got me there was generally being pretty unhealthy. I did no sport, no exercise. I generally had a pretty poor diet. I was at uni, so there was just, I was doing uni stuff, and just the pounds piled on. So in my 20s, when I was at 14 stone, I kind of came to the realization that I had to do something about it. For many different reasons, not least there was health scares potentially on the horizon. I was generally quite uncomfortable in my own skin, and I just kind of knew that I needed to do something to turn that around before it became a real major problem. So I tried lots of diets in my 20s, all the usual things, and some had better success than others. So I tried Weight Watchers, Slimming World, high protein, low carb diets, meal replacement, shake thins. Probably the one that I had most success with was the high protein, low carb diet, but the thing that was the most sustainable for me was calorie counting by far. With the other diets, it was all kind of a bit restrictive, and a diet by definition, I think, is something that you do temporarily to meet a certain target. But then once I got there, I kind of just went back to doing what I was doing before, and the weight piled back on, usually with more in tow. And so it was never addressing the underlying issue, which was a lot of bad habits, a lot of unhealthy eating and drinking, and no exercise. So I'd go for 3 months, I'd lose a load of weight, I'd stop and then just go back to eating what I was eating before. Then I started calorie counting, and I'll be honest, I think calorie counting can be frustrating and difficult to start with, but once you are used to it and you can form a good habit with it, then it's by far the most sustainable and flexible weight loss tool and maintenance tool I think that you can use. So 3 things that I think, 3 main reasons I think that calorie counting is the best thing to lose weight and maintain your weight. Number 1, is keeps you accountable. You're writing everything down. When I started doing it, it was all on a spreadsheet. There were no apps that did it, or at least I didn't know about them, and so it was all done on a spreadsheet. And I did it, I went away from it because I got bored and frustrated with it, but I came back to it And once I got into the habit, it was much easier. Certainly when things like MyFitnessPal came along, it was far easier to track it in an app and have some sort of data where I could get nutritional information from. And if you're writing things down and if you're weighing things out, there's nowhere to hide really. If you've got a target that you need to meet, and if you don't meet that target, it's there in black and white on your app why you didn't get there. So you don't hit your target, it's only you've only got yourself to blame. Blame is not the right word, but you're responsible for hitting that target yourself. And if things aren't going to plan, so you're not losing any weight, then there's probably some fundamental issue with the formula, because weight loss is quite simply being in a calorie deficit. So if you're not losing weight, then part of the formula is wrong. Either you are overestimating how much energy you need, or you're just simply not writing everything down, or not intentionally perhaps, but you might miss a tablespoon of oil, or forget that you've eaten a chocolate bar or a cake and just not written it down. But so you need to get into the habit of really literally writing everything down. And one thing that it does, writing things down, weighing things out, is it prevents you from pointlessly and mindlessly eating, because you're tracking against a number, a target or whatever, and so you're aware of how close you need to eat a certain amount to lose weight. And if you're getting close to that, then you can make the conscious decision to not have a chocolate bar or not have a piece of toast. It's all about making these informed decisions, knowing where you're at, so that you can say no to certain things, or yeah, okay, I'm going to have that. So the second reason I think it's the best thing to do for your weight loss and weight maintenance is that it's sustainable and flexible. A lot of diets these days are focused on restriction of certain food groups as well as calories, but that's essentially what they're boiling down to. But restriction of certain food groups can be tiresome. You yearn for certain things that you might have cut out. You might cut out bread, you might cut out sugar, you might cut out booze. But with calorie counting, nothing's off the table. You can have that cake, you can have that pizza, you can have that drink, as long as it fits into the overall total number of calories that you're aiming for. It's okay as long as they fit, and it's more about balance than restriction. And yeah, no food is off limits. I mean, in theory, you could have 2,000 calories of chocolate cake if that's your thing. You'd be pretty miserable for the rest of the day, and you'd soon understand that you couldn't just do that, because you'd be hungry elsewhere. Not to mention probably feeling quite sick as well. So yeah, it's flexible and therefore it's sustainable. When you're weighing things out, so the third thing, it improves your portion control. Like I said earlier, you're weighing things out, you're understanding what's going on your plate, how many calories are in certain amounts of food. I don't know, 50 grams of pasta or 50 grams of rice, and you start to understand how big those things look on your plate. So take a Chinese takeaway, for example. A lot of the time, the portions that come from a Chinese takeaway, for me anyway, I could probably stretch over 3 meals, but most people don't. They'll eat a carton of noodles and a carton of the meal itself, easily going over 1,000 calories. And then the other thing, things like cereals, a lot of the time, these sorts of cereals have got a portion detail at the top. So for this, per serving, it's a 30-gram serving for 126 calories. But if you pour that out into a bowl, it's nothing. Most people are eating 2 or 3 times as much as that in a bowl without realising that that is not 30 grams. And tripling their calorie intake for breakfast past the recommended portion. So I will say with the portion control, it is frustrating to start with to weigh things out. These are your best friend, or certainly my best friend. But over time it becomes easier, you start to understand things, and look, you don't need to track your calories every day like I do. I would recommend it because you're fully in control of everything, but even just doing it for a period of time and writing things down gives you that understanding of where you might be going wrong and where you could potentially make changes in your diet. So yeah, that's kind of my 3 things that I think make calorie counting the tool, certainly for me. And at the end of the day, it's not just a weight loss tool, it's a maintenance tool. If you're doing it daily, you're tracking your calories daily, you're understanding what you are putting into your body and what your body needs. So it helps you to stay on track while you're still enjoying life, because you can eat the chocolate bar, you can eat the pizza, you can eat the cake, as long as it fits in with what you're doing. And even during really indulgent times like Christmas, I think for me, because it's so ingrained in my life, I do it even when it's shit days, even if I know it's going to be a shit day. That said, Christmas I did give myself a couple of weeks off because I'd resigned myself to the fact that I was going to eat a lot, as I normally do, and I thought I'm going to just come back to it after Christmas and get back on track. And that's the beauty of doing it for such a long time, is that I know that I will always go back to it now, regardless of how bad a period has been, because that's just me. So I let myself go over Christmas. I ate whatever I liked. I ate a lot. I put on quite a bit of weight, more than I was hoping for, but I'm back on it now and I'm tracking everything, and I've got that motivation to kind of lose the weight, and that's calorie counting for me. That's just part of my life. So yes, it's tedious at first, but I would 100% say it's worth it. And if you're tired of diets where you can't stick to, perhaps you started one in January and you're already fallen off the wagon and given up, give calorie counting a shout, because it helps you to learn what the food is that you're putting in your mouth, and makes you fully aware of what you're eating, so that you can make informed decisions about what's going on your plate. Yeah, so if you found that helpful, please do like and subscribe, and yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts on calorie counting. If you've done it before, if you've had success with it, or you've given up and you want to try again, or if you've tried something else which has been a success and you're sticking to it, I would really genuinely love to hear from you and start a conversation about it. Okay, I'll catch you in the next one.